Let's knit this gorgeous baby blanket featuring delicate butterflies and hearts. I'll show you exactly how. I'm going to show you step by step exactly how to make this sweet treasure of a baby blanket. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what skill level this project requires, the yarn and supplies you need to complete it, how to make beautiful sample swatches, where to purchase the pattern, and free bonus, how to make the blanket out of sample swatches. This is an advanced easy project using the thread lace technique. It's easy because if you know how to cast on, knit and purl stockinette, plus bind off, that's the total physical skill level necessary. The challenge becomes working with two yarns held together, one a sport weight, the other a fingering yarn, working most stitches holding both yarns together and knitting only the fingering yarn where designated. This is what creates the delicate lacy look. This is a 30-inch long blanket, and that means a lot of stitches on the needles and dozens of rows. It also means learning to read photographs as well as written instructions to make it successfully. This tutorial demonstrating exactly how to knit the butterfly and heart swatches sets you up perfectly to master the actual blanket. Plus, as promised, we'll talk about alternatively simply making several small swatches and just crocheting them together in patchwork to make any size blanket you desire. Now, if you're more interested in making a baby blanket with dragonflies or angels, click the eye in the upper right-hand corner or click the link in the description below. And machine knitters, catch the link in the description below to all these same patterns adapted to the Brother bulky knitting machine. Okay, on to our butterflies project. You're going to need Loops and Threads Snuggly Wuggly Baby Sport Yarn, or Lion Brand Pound of Love is great too, Tamm Estilo Cone Fingering Yarn, scissors, and size H or 5mm crochet hook. You can get all of these items at your local craft store except the cone yarn or online, and I've placed links in the description below for how to get the cone yarn. Now, the cone yarn costs a bit. However, it would make at least 5 of these blankets and probably more. So that ends up costing you no more per blanket really than the baby sport costs. Think about sharing the cone yarn with your knitting group, and the bunch of you could get cracking on these thread lace blankets and have a wonderful time knitting for a cause. Now that you know the supplies list, want to make something faster than a blanket with these butterflies? Make a dog sweater instead, and you can find the link to that pattern in hand knitting in the description below. Here we are, ready to make this sweet butterfly and hearts swatch. We'll begin with the heart and work our way on up through the butterfly. So let's begin. Holding both yarns together, the baby sport and the fingering yarn, using size US 8 or 5mm knitting needles, make your slip knot and cast on 27 stitches. And there they are, the 27 stitches. Now, if you haven't already done so, you might want to go ahead and print off the Google document so that you can follow along on paper if you like. So, we have 27 stitches here. I'm now going to knit the first 4 rows just plain stockinette stitch. That means knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row. And after that's complete, I'll get back here with you. As I begin my first row, it is a good time to mention that I do things a little differently. I like to stitch in the back of the knit stitch rather than coming up through the front as is typical. No, I'd rather come in back just because it's more comfortable for me, and I like how it sets up subsequent knit rows to be at somewhat of an angle that I'm going to try and demonstrate to you later exactly what I mean, to access the stitch even better. So you're going to see me continuously stitch in the back of the knit stitches You absolutely do what's comfortable for you. I just wanted you to understand what you're seeing me do. All right, I'll meet up with you 4 rows later. All right, then I have my 4 rows knitted. It's time to begin this heart motif. And row 5 begins with knitting 13 stitches. So I've gone ahead and done that. And then we encounter our first interesting terminology, which is TLO. TLO stands for thread lace only. And so as I insert my needle in this stitch, I separate out the fingering yarn from the sport yarn and simply knit it. Knit it only in that stitch. That's all it is, folks. That is all that TLO is. Then I resume knitting with both yarns on the next stitch and the remaining 12 on that row. And so I'll see you at the end of this row. I'm now on row 6, which is a purl row, and I'm already the 13 stitches in that's required. It's time to TLO again. And what's nice about the heart motif is all purl rows are done exactly as the preceding knit row. So all I have to do is insert my hook. I should say my needle, and thread lace only, purl that stitch. Then resume purling with both yarns to the end of the row. So I'll see you at the end of the row and partway into row 7. On row 7, I'm 12 stitches into the knit row. I am now going to TLO the next stitch, knit 1 with both yarns, and TLO again. Then knit my remaining 12 with both yarns. I'll see you at the end of the row and partway into row 8. Row 8, and I'm 8 purl stitches in. I'm just going to repeat exactly what I did on the row above and thread lace only into the thread lace below. Purl 1 with both yarns, thread lace again, and you'll get the rhythm of separating out the thread lace from the sport. And it's 12 stitches to the end, and I'll see you partway into row 9. If I didn't mention it earlier, just know that all knit rows are odd rows and all purl rows are even rows, in case you get a little lost. We are on the 9th knit row. I've knit 11 stitches in as is called for, and this time I'm going to TLO or thread lace over 3 different times divided by a knit 1. So you see how each row so far we have been fanning out into more and more TLOs. That was the last one, I believe. I'm going to check to make sure. Yes, 1, 2, 3 TLOs. And then I'll 11 stitches to the end and meet you partway into row 10. I'm 11 purls in on row 10, and I'll simply repeat what I see. Anywhere there's a TLO, I'll TLO. Anywhere there's both yarns together, I'll do that. Here will be the second TLO, and that means we're dead center of the heart. And third TLO. And I'll just resume my 11 purls to the end and see you partway into row 11. As we begin row 11, we can see a little bit of heart taking shape here. 10 knit stitches in on row 11, it's time to TLO. We're going to do it 4 times this time. There's number 1, number 2, number 3, and here comes the 4th TLO. Knit 10 stitches to the end, and I'll see you partway into row 12. 10 purls in on row 12, it's time to TLO wherever I see a TLO from the row below. That was the first one. This is always a little challenging through the camera. Second one. Third one. Fourth. Now I'm going to knit the remainder and find you partway into the next row, row 13. Row 13 has us 11 knit stitches in. Now we're going to TLO once, knit 3, 1, 2, that was the very center stitch, 3, and then a second TLO before finishing out with our 11 knit stitches. I'll see you partway into row 14. Row 14 is the final row of the heart motif, and we'll just do what we did the row below and do a TLO, the 11 purls in. Then we're going to purl 3 in a row with both yarns together. There, that's the very middle stitch there. Last TLO. And finish out your stitches. We're finished with the heart, and it's really hard to see the true result of the heart until we've knitted up another, I'm going to say 6 rows of stockinette stitch will do it, and that will lead us right into then doing the butterfly. So go ahead, knit 4 to 6 stockinette rows up, and I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Hey there, knitters, we're now going to slide right into the butterfly, and you need to be setting your counters to beginning the 5th row. We're not going to make separate swatches, as the Google document kind of indicates. We're going to slide right into the butterfly from the heart. So, starting row 5, I have already knit my first 7 stitches, okay? So now, it calls for a TLO 1. The pattern does. Having done that, we're going to knit 3. There's the 3rd. Then we're going to TLO 1 again. Then we're going to knit 3 again. And the second of those 3 stitches will be the middle of the swatch. There's the 3rd knit. And we're going to need to TLO 1 again. Knit 3. TLO 1 for the last time, and finish out the row with 7 stitches. meet you partway into the next row, row 6. Row 6 has its 8 purl stitches in. Here's where I note that on the butterfly motif, we're not copying knit rows on our purl rows. It's all different. So after purling the 8, I need to now, for the first time in our pattern, TLO twice in a row. TLO 2. There's the first one. There's the second one. Next, purl 2. 1, 2. Next, TLO 1. Then purl 1, which should be the very center of the butterfly. TLO 1 again. Purl those 2. TLO 2 in a row. There's one. There's the second. 8 stitches remaining. Do them, and I'll see you partway into row 9. I misspoke. We're on row 7, and I have knit 6 in, and I'm ready to TLO twice in a row. 1, 2. Next, I will be knitting 2. TLO 2 again. Knit 1. TLO 1, which is right in the middle of the butterfly. Knit 1. TLO those 2. Knit 2. TLO 2 for the last time in this row. And you should have 6 remaining stitches. Do them, and I'll see you partway into row 8. Row 8 has us 5 purls in. Now it's time to TLO 1 in the next stitch. Next, we're going to purl 6 in a row. So watch to make sure carefully that you're getting in the correct stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. TLO 1. Then purl 1. And that should be the center of the butterfly. TLO 1 again. Purl 6. 1. Being careful. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. TLO 1. Finish out your 5 purls. Get started on row 9. I'll see you there. Row 9, we're 5 stitches in and ready to TLO 1. TLO 1, knit 2. TLO 1. Knit 4. Now TLO 1, which should be the center of the butterfly. Knit 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. TLO 1. Knit 2. TLO 1 again. Knit out those last 5, and I'll see you in row 10. Row 10, a purl row, and I'll try not to go off screen this time. We are 5 purls in. We'll TLO 1. Yes, we will. Purl 3. 1, 2, 3. TLO 1. Purl 7, which is the center of the butterfly. 1, 2, 3. And there's the very center, the dead center. 4, 5, 6, 7. TLO 1. Purl 3. Being careful to catch the correct stitch. 1, 2, 3. TLO 1. A final time. Now knit out those last 5. I'll see you part way into row 11. Row 11, and we're 6 knit stitches in, and time to TLO 1 in the next stitch. Now we're going to knit 6 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. TLO 1, which should be right in the middle of the butterfly. Knit 6 yet again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, TL01 a final time, and knit out those last 6. I'm going to get back with you partially into row 12. Row 12, we've purled through 6. We're going to TLO in the next stitch. Purl 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. TL01. Oh dear. Okay. TL01. Let's purl 3 right here, and that is going to be the center of the butterfly. TLO1. Purl 4. 1, 2, 3. Oops, let's not go off camera. 4. TLO1. Purl out those 6. Meet you partway into row 13. As we start row 13, we're about halfway through this butterfly, and we're 5 knit stitches in. Time to TLO 1. Knit 2. TLO 1. Knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to TLO the very center of this butterfly. TLO 1. Knit another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. TLO 1. Knit 2. TLO 1. And knit the remaining 5. Then we'll come back and be partway into row 14. Row 14, we've purled 5, and now it's time for a TLO 1 right here. Next it's purl 1. TLO 1. Purl 1 again. TLO 1. Purl 3. 1, 2, 3, and the TLO 1 I do now is the middle of the butterfly. Purl 3 again. 1, 2, 3. TLO 1. Purl 1. TLO 1. Purl 1. TLO 1. And purl out those last 5. I'll see you partway into row 15. But first, it would do us good to just kind of see what our progress is. You can kind of now begin to see the lower half of the butterfly. Let's keep going. 4 knit stitches into row 15. It's time to TLO 1. Then knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Another TLO 1. And another knit 3. 1, 2, 3. TLO 1. And then knit 1 for center. TLO 1. Knit 3. 1, 2, 3, TLO 1, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, TLO 1 a final time, knit those final 4, and back with you partway into row 16. 4 purls into row 16, it's time to TLO 1. Then purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, TLO 1, purl 3. Being careful to catch the right stitches. 1, 2, 3. That was the center 3. TLO 1. Oop, let's do a TLO. Purl those 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, TLO 1, purl out the remaining 5, and I'll see you partway into row 17. Yes, I will. 4 stitches into knit row 17. I'm going to TLO 1 in the next stitch. And I'm going to knit the next 6. 1, 2. Oops, and I just about dropped a stitch there. 3, 4, 5, 6. TLO1, knit 1. TLO1, and that should be center. Knit 1. TLO1, knit 6 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, TLO1, knit out those last 4. Meet you in row 18. Row 18, 4 purls in, TLO1. Purl 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We haven't had one of these for a while. It's TLO2. 2 in a row. 1, 2. Purl 5, and these are the middle 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. TLO2. Get that nice and separated out. 1, 2. Purl 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. TLO1. Purl out those last 4, and we'll get started on row 19. Row 19, 4 knit stitches in, TLO1. Knit 4. Rather knit 2. 1, 2. Now, TLO2. Row 20, we're 5 purls in, and I'm going to TLO2. There's 1. There's the second. Purl 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, TLO 1, purl 3. These are the middle stitches. 1, 2, 3. TLO 1, purl 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. TLO 2, knit out those, purl out those remaining 5, and we'll get started on row 21. Row 21, and we are on the last row of pattern. I am 4 knit stitches in, gonna TLO 1, then I'm gonna knit 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This 9th one should be the middle. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. TLO 1, and knit those last 4. Yay! 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're going to want to knit 5 more rows and bind off your sample. This is what we've got so far. We're going to see more and better what we've got after those remaining 5 rows. Go for it. Here it is all finished, this swatch, and while I made it a little bit larger than the original swatch, it doesn't matter. Gauge isn't especially important on this AFGHAN unless you're making a bunch of pieces like this to crochet together, which we kind of talked about in the beginning. Then you would want them to be as uniform as possible. Now, here's another alternative to the squares. What if you just kept going, making long strips? Wouldn't that be sweet? And then you could go as tall as you wanted, and you could also go as wide as you wanted with as many panels as desired. Couldn't you? Yes, you sure could. Just repeat on up and out wide. I hope these ideas of patchwork or panels really appeals to you. Go for it. Look at this gorgeous baby blanket. Once we're done knitting all the expansive rows, this is what it looks like. And what we want to do now is spend time making a beautiful shell crochet border around the edge, okay? And if you're adept at adjusting patterns, you can opt to begin, end, and at the sides, do garter or seed stitch to help make this lie flat, rather than crocheting around the edge in case you don't know how to crochet or don't want to crochet, okay? So that's your option. Where we'll start then is still using both yarns together, because that's going to be the loveliest effect, is if you continue to use both yarns together, is start at the upper right hand corner, right right where you bound off. So still using both yarns together, because the best result, the best looking result, is with both yarns together for the crochet shell edge. Make your slip knot. At the upper right hand corner, right where you bound off, count 3 stitches in. 1, 2, 3. Insert the hook, which is your size H or 5mm crochet hook, and chain 1. Now, yarn over and skip 2 stitches, and in the third from the hook, make your 5 in a row, half double crochets or double crochets. I prefer the halves. Just goes a little faster. 3, 4, 5. Then skip 2 and single crochet in the next. Yarn over, skip 2, and then another cluster of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the 2, single crochet. One more time. Skip 2, make a cluster of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue in this manner all the way across the top. This is how it will be on the bottom. The sides will be a different animal, however. So I'll meet you in the middle where I want to show you something. We started over here. Now we're in the middle of the top, and the very middle becomes a single crochet. And we just want to check to make sure that that is really looking like the middle, evenly spaced between the 2 hearts here, because we do want spacing to be uniform. That's how it's going to look the best. All right, next I'll head over to the left hand edge and show you how to turn a corner, and then we will master the side. I'm at the last cluster before I get to the corner. At this point, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just throw a glance back and make sure that you've alternated your single crochets with your clusters. I have accidentally doubled up on single crochets and clusters by not paying attention, so just do yourself a favor and be checking back every now and then. Okay? So as I was saying, the last cluster before you reach the corner, just skip 1 then to do your next single crochet. Yarn over, and now we're going to do 7 half double crochets or double crochets right in the corner there. And sometimes it's a little hard to find the corner, but it's right about there. I'm going to wrestle my way into that corner. So I found my way into the corner here, and here goes 7 in my cluster. Okay, 1, 2. Don't be surprised if it's a little challenging. 3, 6, 7. And that nicely lays around the corner. Okay? Having turned that corner so nicely, we see that things look a lot different than they did up top there. So you have to kind of see where all the little spaces are here. And I'm going to show you that if you skip 3 stitches and in the 4th do your next single crochet, yarn over, and then skip 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go in the 6th opening You have to kind of train your eye to see it. Do your next cluster. 2, 3, 4, 5. So, looking closely, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the 6th, get in there with a single crochet. Yarn over and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right about there for the next cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue in this way all the way down the side. It's going to take a little while, but you'll have about 15 clusters in between the corner clusters. So there ought to be 15 of these by the time you get down and are ready to turn the corner. Okay, I'm ready to do another corner, and I should note that it actually turned out to be 16 clusters along the side here. You probably don't want really any fewer. 15 to 16 is great. Fewer would be too taut, wouldn't it? And you can always have more if you can figure out how to make it just look the very best that it can. So here I am close to the corner. And I'm only going to skip the 3, 1, 2, 3, and go in right about here for my last single crochet. Yarn over, and now I'm going to neatly make 7 half double crochets in the corner here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, to lay neatly around the corner. Then just continue on skipping 2 and making whatever is necessary with the 2 skipped in between. Then get over to your other side and do what we just did. I'll see you down at the bottom. I just completed the 4th corner, and all I have to do now is slip stitch in that beginning chain 1 where we started out. And there it is. We're finished, folks. One last thing I'm going to do is I am going to take the iron and gently tap, tap, tap it across the edges here so that they lay a little flatter. I'll show you how that looks and the final result. Here it is then, all finished. A sweet little confection of a glad knitter. Hey knitters, if you enjoyed this video, let me know it by hitting the like button below, and as long as you're down there, click subscribe. Now, go purchase this pattern in my Etsy shop at the link in the description below and make yourself a sweet confection